The Renters' Rights Bill and what it means for landlords. Don't panic. It's business as usual. What does it mean for you as a landlord if we have the Renters' Rights Bill in place? Well, the first thing I'm going to say is we need to keep calm and carry on. Why? The abolition of Section 21 has set fear amongst buy-to-let landlords, and I understand it. I'm one myself. We are concerned about our ability to evict problem tenants. However, Section 21 was designed to really evict under other reasons than problem tenants. Professional landlords who provide high quality homes to tenants have nothing to fear. In fact, 4.6 million, 19% of all households are rented by the private rented sector. That's people renting from people like you and me. Don't panic. We will still be able to evict problem tenants via Section 8. And we're being told that there will be a new online system to help us do so. That's my biggest concern, what the government will do to speed up Section 8. Short hold tenancies were abolished, so similar tenancies, AST type tenancies, were abolished in Scotland in 2017. And landlords have still been able to evict problem tenants through a court or tribunal. So what does the Renters Reform Bill really mean for us landlords, those who are renting out buy-to-let properties? So the first thing it means is that the government abolishing Section 21 no-fault evictions. Now, my own personal view of that is that the person that hurts most is the tenant, because tenants are often evicted under no-fault evictions as a way of asking them to leave without saying that they have a fault eviction, i.e. antisocial behaviour. Okay, so the tenants are going to suffer because now we're going to have to give them a fault eviction if there's a reason that they need to leave. Before, we used to be able to do a 6-month AST. In the future, the tenancy will be long-term, but we'll have a mandatory 12 months before we can evict a tenant. So you have to be completely sure, for example, that you don't want to sell that property in the 12-month period, because you will have to wait 12 months before you can start eviction proceedings. The government are going to be introducing a new private rented sector database and ombudsman. So this is going to mean that properties need to be registered here by law. This should, I hope, drive significant improvements. And let's be honest, the only people who have something to fear are landlords who are not providing decent homes for their tenants. So the improvements will drive a decent home standards and the extending of Awab's law, which is a law about a little boy that died due to mould. Okay, so we should not have mould as part of our tenants' property. My properties do not have mould. Okay, and we need to educate our tenants to make sure that they don't do things that encourage mould. Another thing that's going to happen with the Tenant Reform Act is we will not be able to reasonably or have a blanket ban on benefits tenants, and we can't reasonably refuse to allow tenants to have pets. I let my tenants have pets anyway, and good tenants, there's no reason why they can't have a pet. There will be a ban on rental bidding wars, which is something that's happened in the last couple of years where there's not been a high amount of rental stock. And this is a big one. It's saying rent increases allowed only once per year and only to the market rate using Section 13 notice, giving 2 months notice that we are going to increase the rent. Now, I don't know about you, but I only increase my rent once a year anyway, okay? And many landlords have not been increasing rents, and you need to increase them. Okay, it is important that you are renting to tenants at near market rent, because if the tenant does ever have to leave, that's the rent they're going to have to pay to get somewhere else. The Renters' Right Bill legislation will really importantly expand the rights of landlords for possession under Section 8. So we'll lose Section 21, but we'll have expanded rights for eviction under Section 8. There are lots of these grounds, but I'm just going to tell you about a few of them now. So possession grounds will include, you will be able to evict tenants with antisocial behaviour immediately. You will be able to evict tenants who have not paid their rent, but it's moving from 2 to 3 months, okay? But you'll now evict under Section 8 instead of Section 21. There is a mandatory 4-week notice to evict the tenant, so we have to give them 4 weeks notice. Discretionary rent arrears grounds, i.e. payments continually late, that is going to be a ground to evict. So those tenants who constantly pay late every month, that is going to be a discretionary reason to evict. Landlords want to sell the property, that is a reason that you can evict a tenant. It's a genuine reason. The landlord's family wants to move in to the property, or the landlord themselves wants to move into the property. And here's a big one for people like myself who are buying new properties, redevelopment. The landlord wishes to demolish or substantially redevelop the property, which cannot be done with the tenant in situ. Various time limits or notice requirements exist for this ground depending on the circumstances. The landlord and tenancy must be on the kind listed in a table which is on the gov.gov website. So this is around 4 months. There are many other grounds, both mandatory and non-mandatory grounds for evicting tenants. So what does this all mean for landlords? Well, the reality is we are landlords and we want our tenants to stay. But the reality is when those tenants are not the right tenants and they are doing things that mean that they are causing a problem for our property, we will still be able to evict them. The other thing is, if we need possession of the property, for example, the only way you can get the EPC to a C by 2030 is by taking all the plaster off the walls, then that is a substantial refurb and you will be able to evict your tenants. I hope, for one, that my tenants are going to stay, and I'm sure you think the same thing. But what you need to understand is that this Renters' Rights Bill is going to be implemented by the Labour government, and we need to understand what it means for us and our property portfolios. So like and share if you wanted to hear about this, and make sure you subscribe so that you get more of our videos and find out more about what's happening in the UK property market.